Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2 of Ready to Ramble.
Yeah. We are here. Season 2, baby.
Season 2. For those of you who were not here last week, we wrapped up Season 1. We said goodbye to our dear Sarah. But the door is always open for some guest returns because you know Sarah. She's got them wrestling opinions.
She knows it.
And they are hot. But if you did miss last week, we have a new co-host. Please introduce yourself for those who didn't see.
Hi, my name is Janel Santa Cruz. I am a big wrestling mark. I am filling in for Sarah the best I can.
No, it ain't filling in. You're here. You're
No,
here.
you're-
It's permanent.
I-
This is
I-
home.
You in now?
You know what though? I'm bringing the hair power today. I'm bringing it in for her because I know she's always got the cool hair. So I was like, let me step it up a little bit.
And I can't do that. I don't have that possibility.
Some Chun-Li.
I lost that possibility
You
at
got the
age
Sailor Moons
17.
going on.
It went bald. It all left. Iffy though, still a host, still here. Had to run to a show though, but we got a kick-ass replacement. In case anyone didn't watch the Dragon Ball Z show right beforehand, which for shame. Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Aaron Powell. I'm also. This is my second time on Ready to Ramble, so I cut my hair from the last time. My hair is not as cool
It's
over
just
there.
a show about hair
You know,
now. It's just a
I
show
know,
about hair.
It's all about hair at this point. And just letting my soul glow over here. Huge wrestling.
Just let your soul glow.
huge wrestling fan since I was a kid, and just back in it.
So very exciting today, guys. We are going to be talking about Extreme Rules. Because last week was so big, we didn't make any predictions. So the belt still up for grabs, and now we'll talk about that at the next pay-per-view for sure. We're going to make some predictions there, but we're going to talk about Extreme Rules. A very good Raw last night. I thought actually a pretty strong Raw.
I agree.
But not without its down moments. Bray Wyatt continues to be buried.
Yeah.
The most buried man in professional wrestling.
So much potential.
We did open with some riddles, some Bray riddles.
He did.
Yeah.
We did have some sweet Bray riddles opening up that show.
Some brittles, if you will.
Yeah.
Peanut butter brittle. That's it's his new move. He's gonna cover your nuts in glaze. And SmackDown's currently happening, but we do have some SmackDown discussions because we didn't talk about it last week. But last week came the announcement of the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match for the women.
Women. I'm actually really excited for this. I was getting a little bit fatigued with the first woman this, first woman that.
Really? Okay, that's
because
interesting.
It felt like they were just doing it in a rush where they were like, okay, Hell in a Cell, what's next? Okay,
Right.
give the woman this one. And I was just
Right.
like, I was getting a little fatigued, but I actually legitimately am excited for the Money in the Bank ladder match. It's going to be great.
I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm also weary about it because WWE likes to. They do this to the women a lot. They'll put all of them in one match.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
it's
No
super
time.
short.
No time, yeah.
I don't want to see
Yeah.
a 6-minute Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a 6-minute ladder match at all.
It's the
you
same
know?
as the 5-minute kendo stick on a pole
Right,
match.
Which we're going to talk
Yeah,
about.
We'll talk about. What do we want to talk about first? Do we want to talk about Raw, or do we want to talk about the pay-per-view?
I do want to talk about the Money in the
Yeah.
Bank a little bit
Okay.
because we saw. If you're not watching SmackDown right now, the briefcase was revealed, and we were making some jokes. Hopefully, it's not pink or
Right.
purple or anything
Yep.
like that. It's chrome. It's a nice, respectable
Yep.
color.
Chrome is fine.
Chrome
we
is
got
good.
away from the butterfly championship
Oh my
belt.
god! Yeah, that killed me for many years.
Oh, that forever belt. Yeah. People in the chat are saying that, the dislike, the whole let's throw the women into all the one match, which
Yeah.
we see a lot more. Even though we are seeing that in the Money in the Bank, there's going to be a lot of competitors. I feel like we see that a lot more on Raw. It'll be right after. This is the first post-Raw
Yeah.
pay-per-view where the pay-per-view happened, and the immediate thing was not let's open with 8 women in the ring,
Yeah.
and they're just going to have a
Yeah.
4-way tag.
Exactly.
Which I appreciate.
WrestleMania, they do that too. We're gonna have
Yes.
a 20 diva match.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
let's throw Lana in there for 2 seconds, and,
Yeah.
And the Great Moolah is gonna win.
Exactly. We'll bring back somebody else. Yeah.
So, but I'm excited about that. And also, it was nice to see there was a pretty good power bomb done last week of Charlotte putting Natalya through the table, which I love Sasha Banks. I'm a huge Sasha Banks fan. That was maybe the one moment that looked like it hurt real bad. Was
Yeah.
Sasha is not a big woman.
No.
And so when
She's
Charlotte
yeah.
tried to powerbomb her through a table
Yeah.
at
You're
Hell in a
like,
Cell,
she is gonna be broken in half.
Right.
that
Oh,
table
yeah.
didn't so much break.
Yeah, it's like when it doesn't break, that's when it hurts more because
Oh, yeah.
they're gimmick to break, and when it doesn't,
Yeah, it hurts more when it doesn't break. That's for sure.
Yeah, so it was nice. Natalya's just went right through that table. It looked like a great little spot. And we got some more from last week's SmackDown, some more Jinder Mahal. I'm all about.
I'm actually really cool with.
What is
Jinder.
your opinion on the Jinder Mahal stuff? I want to ask.
Here's my thing.
Lay it down for us.
And
Aaron
you'll get my Twitter at the end to hate me on this.
Send all messages there.
I send all messages straight to me. I like the idea of Jinder Mahal as a champion. Because not even just for the obvious business push that they're trying to do with like India being a huge
big
market
business,
and
big
stuff.
business.
Big business there. That's a smart move there. Also, it gets us out of yet another boring Randy Orton run.
Yes, although he's still involved with the feud.
He's still involved with the feud, which is cool, but like give Jinder a chance. Maybe he can, prove that somebody who's only won 4 matches in the last 16 months can actually do something with that belt. But at the same time, like what I don't like is what they're doing is they do this a lot with a lot of foreign gimmicks, like. Oh, you guys hate me because I'm foreign.
Yeah, so
Right.
they're speaking my language to get some heat.
And then
Right.
the white guy comes in and is like, oh, no, you just suck. The whole racism doesn't exist thing. I'm like, wait, no, we can go another way with this.
Yeah. Which way? How would you book Jinder? What's your way to go with this?
Well, if Jinder's going to be booked as a heel, lose the whole you hate me because I'm Indian thing.
Yes.
Lose all of that and just do heelish things. Beat the hell out of people. Dominate matches until like some hero can rise up. Give somebody a reason to pay money to see you lose.
Yeah.
That way you'll like Triple H did that perfectly in the early 2000s. You hated him.
Exactly.
But you would still watch it to see if he would lose the match. And he held that belt for years.
It's been the same promo he's been cutting for like the last
It's
since
been
he's
the
been
same
champ.
30-minute
thing.
promo.
Yes. Well, I feel like the thing with Jinder, and I do agree, like I like it, but I think the thing with him is they're not sure what heel tactic to push. Do they push the evil foreigner tactic, which is what they did with Rusev, or do they push the I ride in a limousine and I'm rich, the
Like
old Ric
Alberto,
Flair
yeah.
tactic?
Somebody brought this up that Jinder's growing on me, but they wish he had better mic skills. What you can do with that, you can still have him like riding in the limousines and stuff, being like all high and mighty. Get someone else who has better mic skills to speak for him. What they could have done is like send him away before they gave him this push. They can't do it now. But
No, it's too late.
What they could have done was send him away for a couple of months, bring him back, repackage and stuff. He could still be Jinder Mahal, but have him only speak Hindi. And then have his mouthpiece come in and just down everybody in the audience. Have him not speak at all.
Yeah.
Like the whole Brock Lesnar thing.
Well,
Well, we talked about this
Go
last
ahead.
week actually about Shinsuke, about
that's
whether should Shinsuke have gotten a Paul Heyman or this, that, and the other. And I think the conclusion we mostly came to was that the issue sometimes with, and we're not saying you were recommending Paul Heyman,
Right.
but that idea.
But that idea.
But we talked about sometimes the issue with being like, here's the foreign guy who can't speak English, and then here's the white guy who's going to speak for him. It ends up making that foreign character look weak. Whereas they said, what if you got another Asian who speaks perfect
That's what I'm
English?
saying.
So you get another.
Because they did that with what was the name of Alberto's announcer? He had his own
Ricardo.
announcer. Yeah,
Carlos.
Ricardo. That's right. Yeah, I thought that was cool. That was that fit the gimmick perfectly.
I like that too. But
even like
as we've
Mr.
learned-
Fuji with Yokozuna from way
Yes.
back in the day.
Yes.
Like Mr. Fuji brought heat.
Yeah.
Yokozuna, not from Japan.
Not he's from not even Japanese.
He's the
from-
Rock's cousin.
He's from Hawaii.
Could you imagine if they pushed Roman Reigns as a Japanese character today?
Right? Oh, so racist.
Alrighty.
But
Oh my gosh. Someone's saying in the chat right now, Lana made her debut on SmackDown.
yeah.
Okay.
No word on Rusev yet. We talked about this last week that the big Rusev push was going to be because Rusev was doing those videos, was doing those webcam videos of like, I demand a championship match at Money in the Bank, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. And people are like, oh, they're going to give Rusev a push. Well, apparently, according to internet rumors, because now Jinder has the title, and that was sort of a last-second plan, they've dashed all their Rusev plans, which is why Money in the Bank is coming up, and you haven't heard shit about
the thing
Rusev.
is, Rusev is still kind of being punished for like the old school like breaking character thing.
Yep.
He's still getting heat from that because him and Lana were in a feud, and then Lana's on Twitter posting her engagement ring, and that just threw that whole. And that feud sucked, by the way. I wasn't saying
That was a
like,
bad feud.
I
With
hate
Ziggler?
the love
It
triangle.
was really bad, but I like the jean jackets. I
Oh, yeah. I love
Yeah.
Ziggler.
Now,
we
I
liked
love
the-
Ziggler.
now,
we
I
liked the look that Lana had during the time. That was
I love Shawn Michaels light, which is what I call Dolph Ziggler. but because he does the super kick and all that stuff. He did the Famouser for a little while too.
He addressed. There's a great podcast for those of you who watch this show called The Comedians of Wrestling. Dan Black from UCB hosted, and he had Dolph Ziggler on and asked him that question about how do you like being compared to Shawn Michaels, and he kind of talked about it. And he said he's like, everybody takes from everybody else, and he kind of like brushed it off in a way that I kind of understand and I could see what he was saying.
Right.
But it's worth a listen if you want to hear Dolph's
opinion
on that.
The order goes like this. It goes from Shawn, and then it goes to who was before Dolph? There was somebody
like
else.
a Shawn Michaels.
Jericho.
Jericho.
Then
Yeah.
Tyler Breeze. That's what we have. We have those four.
And then before Shawn, it was Flair.
Yeah.
Like everybody took something from someone else, which
same,
I'm fine with it. They're all the same people, and I love them all. Actually, I'm a big fan of all.
Absolutely.
So Lana's back, and she came out into the ring and said demanded to be part of the Money in the Bank. And Shane McMahon said, "You didn't earn the match." Naomi made fun of her, and you would think at that point, wrestling logic would be, "Oh, Lana and Naomi are going to have a match."
Nope.
And it might happen. SmackDown's still going on right now. It might happen.
We don't know.
But as of right now, Lana just walked to the back and yelled at Naomi. So
all right.
That's what's happening there. That's SmackDown. And I still enjoy the fact that SmackDown is only 2 hours.
Yeah,
and it's so easy to digest.
2 hours of wrestling is a perfect show. I watched
I
Raw
think that's good,
next night on Hulu. For the 90-minute Raw because I can't, for my own sanity, I cannot sit through 3 hours of Raw.
Do you know what? To be honest, I don't enjoy watching it on Hulu because aside from like entrances, I don't mind if you cut those short. But I hate when they take pieces of the match because they take pieces of storytelling and they remove that and it's no longer.
Especially if
what
that
it
match
be.
got some good time on it too.
Yeah, I'll also admit I
don't mind remove a whole match or anything.
And I'll admit, because of doing this show, I used to watch the Hulu version. Now I have to watch the whole show because there might be bad
obligated.
stuff. Well, there might be bad stuff they cut out of the Hulu thing, and people are talking about it. Like, I don't know if that Alexa Bliss thing from 2 weeks ago is in the Hulu Raw. They probably cut it out because it was so badly judged. Yeah. But everybody was talking about it.
Well, then again, they keep bringing it up, so I don't know if they would actually cut it out of the Hulu because it is a topic of like, haha, Alexa, you messed up. They're blaming her for it.
They are. So we got to talk about the pay-per-view, but I do want to talk about that since we are talking about it. Yeah, Alexa came out last night, and the writers essentially made her apologize for the Becky Lynch "This Is Your Life," which was so awkward.
So, yes,
like the "This Is Your Life" segment, like it can't be done again because like they're trying to do something that the Rock and Sock Connection did, which was only supposed to be a 5-minute segment, which went on for a half hour, and it was hilarious.
And was one of the like highest rated segments. Like people loved it.
People loved it, but like they had that chemistry and that connection with the audience to do so. You can't have and nothing against the women wrestlers, but you can't have them in 4 or 5 minute matches and then expect them to go out into the crowd and like speak for like 15 minutes. We have no reason to care.
Yeah. So and it's also weird because like she had just beaten Bayley, so to address the thing that didn't go well a week ago,
right,
and not so much the match the night before, and also the fact that they really, I felt like, burnt off the possible Nia Jax feud in a match, like a real quick Raw match too, considering they had been building that up ever so slightly in the background of the Bayley stuff. Was like, oh, Nia's next. Right. Nia's coming for Bayley.
Nia Jax, the Rock's actual cousin.
Yeah. So let's talk about that pay-per-view match for sure. The Alexa Bliss and Bayley kendo stick on a pole match. I love leaving
the disappointment on a pole match.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love leaving the pay-per-views very often going like, you know what, the women's match was the match, and I feel like that's happened at a lot of pay-per-views, not all, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
This might have been the most disappointing one. Well, you know what? No, sorry. Kalisto, Apollo Crews, and Titus O'Neil are on the card. But it's near the bottom. It's near the bottom there. This was a match that. Oh boy, I don't even. It's 5 minutes long. It made Bayley look weak. And it's also interesting because some of the crowd started booing Bayley, which to me...
It felt split for some reason.
Well, I think that shows that Raw has not handled Bayley correctly since, debatably, the Rumble, maybe WrestleMania.
Well, what chance does a literal child have against the great Alexa Bliss, apparently, right?
So we talked about this last week, that essentially the Raw writers, whereas like Alexa and Bayley in NXT was consistently connecting with kids, and it was like, oh, that character that connected with kids, very genuine. For lack of a better way of putting it, the female Daniel Bryan, who was like a gold babyface that audiences really connected to and loved right away. It didn't feel cynical. For whatever reason, they bring her up to Raw, and they now treat her as if she is literally a child, like it's like in the movie Big, and Tom Hanks became a wrestler. Like, she pouts when she loses the belt. They talk about her dad and all the things she did as a little kid and all these other things. And it's so strange, and it just almost makes no sense.
It makes none at all because their target demographic are like 18 to 30-year-old males. So
and they've hurt that kid.
They've really, really mishandled Bayley for sure. What else do we want to talk about? What was the other match? Oh, okay. So what was the next match? The top of the card was the pre-one, which was the Apollo Crews, right? And then we had secondary.
Which now that feud's continuing. We saw on Raw with, but yes and no. It's Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. They don't get along, but they do get along. And I'm like, just do the feud. Do the feud or have them click. Have them be a tag team.
Somebody's saying send Bayley to SmackDown, but what's the solution if you send Bayley to SmackDown? Because do you need baby faces there, or what do you need? What do you think that the women need?
SmackDown's women division is already pretty strong.
I think they're pretty good. I don't think they need to take Bayley anywhere necessarily. I think it's really just the Raw writers need to handle her more appropriately.
Yeah, because SmackDown's got a good card right now. I mean, Charlotte's doing great. Becky's doing great. Like all the women on SmackDown look really good.
And behind the scenes, maybe like some of the talent needs to speak to the writers and be like, hey, this might not work. How about this? Like, I don't know how much input she actually has in like the way that they write her. Like maybe that's the problem. Because she did
really well in NXT.
Yeah.
And that's why I think some people are thinking that she would do well on SmackDown because the NXT the main writer was promoted to SmackDown, so she would be handled properly there. That's for sure.
And I think that's the thing is like I feel from my understanding, Vince still has a very hard hand on Raw and maybe a little less on SmackDown. And I think we've seen like even Sasha Banks right now is about either she's about to or did appear on 205 Live, and she's kind of now acting as more of I feel like of a valet than a wrestler to some extent. And
she's she's just dancing with her tag team partners now.
Yeah, and I just feel like they Raw, except for Charlotte, never doesn't seem to have a good handle on how to use the women characters. I mean, even like we said, Nia Jax. With except Alexa Bliss, they're doing Alexa Bliss fairly well, except for last week's terrible "This Is Your Life" segment. Other than that, they've been doing great work with Alexa on Raw. But like even Nia Jax, I talked about this a little while ago, where after the last pay-per-view where Alexa won the belt, she insulted all the women in the ring except Nia Jax. She said, "Oh, you're great," but in a very obvious like, "Oh, you're gonna beat me up if I say anything bad." And then Nia Jax in the back being like, "Did you mean what you said?" And I'm like, "What? Why do you write these characters like they're so dumb?" It made Nia look like an idiot. Like, of course she didn't mean what she said. Like, but it's that, and you know, you never want to just always go back to Attitude Era stuff, but there's got to be a small degree of like, I always think about in the last couple of years when the Authority would be like, we're going to have all the wrestlers come out and we're going to tell you you're fired if blank happens and blah, 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 blah. And you would look up and there would be all the wrestlers, including Seth Rollins, who was feuding with Triple H at the time. And you're just sitting there going like, there is no way if in the 90s Vince McMahon was like, all the wrestlers come out and I'm going to yell at you, Steve Austin was just going to stand up there and take it.
No.
It was
there were some wrestlers that would not be there. Right?
And he'd be like, where's Austin? Where's Austin? Get him here to the ring.
Typically, it'd be Austin and Undertaker would never be shown.
Yes.
Kane, depending on which Kane we're getting.
Corporate
Kane. We're getting Demon Kane, probably
Mayor
not.
Kane.
Glenn Jacobs.
Glenn Jacobs, Granddad Kane coming out. But if we got like breakdancing doing a spinneroonie Kane, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But like,
and that's the thing is like every wrestler is treated equally except for Brock and Roman Reigns, which is the issue. And we're seeing that now, I think, a little bit on as good as SmackDown is. Shinsuke went from being like literally the hottest guy to like a month and a half later, Shinsuke's just another dude on the roster.
Oh yeah, it's almost like he lost to John Cena without losing to John Cena.
Already. Yeah, it's true because that's the only. I mean, by the way, speaking of that match, did happen in Hawaii. Do we remember who won that match? That happened at a live show, a house
show.
Yeah, it was Knock versus Cena, I believe. I don't remember.
I think
if anyone in chat, if anyone knows. I don't know of any other successful NXT people that I can say aside from like Kevin Owens and some of the few ones that came out like right out the gate like that too, that haven't been extinguished as they've arrived.
Because like Seth Rollins didn't come right out of the gate and get success. He was built up.
He's built up, and he was the Shield was a while. The Shield was
yeah. So I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, and that's why like there is that understandable thing when wrestling fans right now are like, when's Asuka going to get moved up? Move Asuka up. But then you see what happens to everybody who was super hot at NXT gets moved up. And I'm like, No.
And they get lost in
Leave
the
her
shuffle.
alone. Leave Asuka alone.
Yeah, unless you're going to put her on SmackDown and put her in a feud with like Charlotte, I don't want to see Asuka move up, because if you put her on Raw, they're gonna make fun of her, and then suddenly she'll be someone's valet on 205 Live.
She'll be evil because she's Japanese and they're evil foreigners, right?
That's exactly.
And then it's Kai and Tai 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no need for that. The Miz defeated Dean Ambrose, and I thought what was a fairly entertaining match.
I liked it. Yeah.
I liked it too.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I thought it was entertaining for sure.
They got 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
It was a good match.
I thought it was a good match. I also will admit, like, I'd been getting a little bored by this feud because this is essentially a continuation from their feud in SmackDown. So this was a very long feud.
It's been a while. Yeah.
I got bored with this feud. However, the Miz has been growing.
No, the Miz has been great.
And I don't know if it's like I'm digging the Miz or that I'm just really have a deep-rooted dislike for Dean Ambrose. Like,
you mean Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, right. Like Dean Ambrose, who's just like, remember at one point in time he was a WWE champion.
Yes, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, right out of the Shield.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose was debatably the hottest face in the company when the Shield broke up,
and
they wanted it to be Roman, but it was Dean.
They wanted it to be Roman, but it was Dean, and then Dean kept talking.
Yeah.
And
well, it wasn't just I agree with you. There was that. But they also kind of like how we were talking about with Jinder, how they are not sure if they want him to be the foreign heel or the rich guy heel. So they're not sure.
Do both.
They're not sure with Dean. Do they make him crazy or comedy crazy? Because he'll be crazy where he's going to be like Foley and have a belt, have a bat with a barbed wire on it. And then the next week he's going to throw hot dogs at the Authority.
Yeah.
So they never could deal on like what he is.
Well, that was a conversation I had with my husband recently too. We were talking about how we were watching TakeOver a couple weeks ago with the women's match. It was Ruby Riott and Asuka and I forget.
Oh, the three-way.
Yeah, the three-way.
Yeah.
And how it was weird because all the three of the women were crazy, quote unquote crazy.
Quote unquote,
but they're legitimately playing crazy appropriately versus who's playing like their version of crazy versus Dean Ambrose's, like where he's just like what is crazy about his moveset? He's silly. He's kind of silly.
That's
like
it.
he's kind of funny.
Yeah, which is what they've made him now. Is like he's just
talk
silly.
With that Joker from the Dark Knight
Cross,
voice all the time, and it was just like, all right, dude, stop.
Yeah, he's kind of got that weird shoulder block that he does.
Thing, Seth Rollins was the one who could be elevated to a star because he aligned himself with people who were already established. Roman Reigns, he suffered from what I like to call the X-Pac effect, where it's like when a group breaks up, there's always one guy who holds on too long to that group. And like X-Pac had it worse because when DX broke up, he still had a DX name.
Yeah, he still did the X Factor.
He came out to that music. Like Roman Reigns to this day. Roman Reigns to this day still comes out to the Shield's music. He comes out in this Shield gear, comes out from the crowd and stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
He hasn't really disconnected from. He's holding on to the past too much.
And then part of it is not his fault because, like he said, one of the reasons this was during a panel. I can't remember for what, but I brought this up last week. How he was sort of told to keep the vest on, so to set him apart from different people.
Yeah.
So part of it is just like he's being handled by a lot of people.
He
and
keeps
being
the
told
vest
what to
on
do,
to set him up to keep him apart from different people. But when I see that vest, I think of D'Lo Brown. I think of
my God, you're right.
Yeah, I think of when The Rock wore that shirt for all the time because he had chest surgery going on and stuff. You know, it's like I'm thinking of other things. And when they always bring up, well, you know, he's related to The Rock. Well, if The Rock can't get him over because The Rock heard a sound he hadn't heard in a while when he held his hand up at the Royal Rumble. Y'all saw The Rock's face. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that familiar.
Is
that
a
God.
boo? What the?
Yeah.
I don't think Dean is drunk most of the. If you watch like Total Divas or any of the stuff that like he's featured on as like his normal self, that seems to just be him. Yeah, that's just him.
Yeah. And
I watch Total Divas too. That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, we watch it too. And this is where I've kind of felt like the feud stemmed from that. The whole because Renee is on there this season with Dean.
Yeah.
And so the Miz and Maurice, you know, being on there as well. I think it was they really are trying to do crossovers between Total Divas and wrestling because they do want marks to watch. You know,
right.
Total Divas is such an interesting show. I want to talk to you guys about. I like it. I also,
like it.
and I know a lot of it's scripted, and then there's just stuff that's not. Of course, like any reality show. But it's so interesting because, like, some people who it's like I could care less about them as wrestlers. A perfect example to me before they turned heel were the Usos.
Oh yeah,
I give a shit about the Usos.
Yeah.
But like Jey Uso on Total Divas is super likable.
Yes.
And like
They're
a funny
very funny.
dude.
Yeah.
And it makes you like them in the ring. And same with like. I already liked Rusev, but Rusev on Total Divas is super
Rusev,
funny.
I loved Rusev. I was so happy.
Was great on that show.
Oh,
like,
super funny.
He kind of was a dick around like the wedding episode and stuff, but like not telling her how much water was gonna be splashed on her. So, but like
her cutting back to her, she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I know it's fine if you watch Total Divas, like you watch wrestling where you know what you're getting.
Yes.
Then just full on entertain me. I don't care if Rusev is playing, jerk husband. Do it. I don't care. It's hilarious.
Rusev going out, he's like, I want to wear shorts to my wedding because my quads look great. I'm like, that is something I would say.
But that's the funny thing. But in the opposite, sometimes I think some people go on there, like. I had no real opinion of Renee Young as a I was like, oh, she seems fine. And then like on Total Divas, I'm like, I find you irritating.
Yeah.
Like I thought she came across very unlikable in a way.
She's kind of unlikable in certain episodes.
Yeah.
It's like
like in a manner where she's
maybe
like,
Dean Ambrose is always drunk then.
Yeah, maybe Dean Ambrose is always drunk.
Maybe he is because like she's like the kind of person who's dating somebody who knows what she's getting up front, but then tries to change him down the line. And he's like, oh no, you got me. Like this.
It's a good show. Watch Total Divas, guys.
It's on season break right now, but and then
go back on Hulu. They're on there.
They're on there, and then also that Eva Marie's not going to be back, which I'm like, this was like your main character. Like your main character, you got to give her at least give her a goodbye episode. Have her filming her Nicolas Cage movie that she's doing right now.
Bye, Marie. Bye.
Oh, her family was terrible.
Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever disliked people on a reality show more.
I didn't know.
I didn't know
a douche could be that old. Like,
oh my God, her
dad is a. I did not know.
And his laugh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why? Oh.
Like
awful.
Remember her wedding? Like her wedding.
Dress
the wedding
was all boob.
Not the wedding, like the invitations where like her and her husband.
I'm ashamed to admit
protein.
that I didn't see those episodes, which is great because you guys did.
Oh,
so it's just fun.
Oh, we're in for the long haul.
The dress.
I've seen every episode.
I've seen them all.
I've seen most of them. I don't know why I missed that one, unfortunately.
The most I saw Total Divas was when the soup was still a show.
Right.
Watch it. It's entertaining.
It's entertaining.
It's hilarious.
All right, let's talk about this ladder match that happened on Sunday as well. Did you see it? You saw it?
I did.
The ladder match.
The
Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro for the tag team championship.
Cage match.
Oh my God, I love the Hardy Boys. I'll tell you right. I stand by that. Raw. When I will sometimes fast forward some matches, if the Hardys are in a match, I watch the whole thing. They are still they bring it to every match as if it's a pay-per-view match.
They're still good.
And that's why they can't. If you ever watch footage of them outside, man, they can't walk.
No,
their bodies are so banged up.
I was fortunate enough to see for my honeymoon. We went to Vegas to watch Ring of Honor. And the Hardys were doing the broken thing for just one night there because they had done house shows, but they did.
Right.
So I got to see them do the whole gimmick there, and it was like just a dream. But they were doing autograph signing in the front, and the Matt just like turned and looked towards the line and said, "I knew you'd come." And then, but my husband and I were just like looking over at Jeff, just like, "Oh my God, it's Jeff," and he just looks so like fragile and like crazy. But
there's a video.
In the ring, they look great, but it's just it's just
they bring it all in the ring and then
their bodies
so
do
tired.
Incredible things.
They were there's apparently I guess a video on YouTube where it's like Jeff Hardy getting out of a car and it takes him like 5 to 10 minutes to get out of a car because of his knees and everything.
His knees and all that. Like
so
they
it's
put their bodies through a lot.
But every match, man,
every match they put on, it's for a lack of a better term, poetry in motion.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep. And so Cesaro and the winners were Cesaro and Sheamus. They won, so they are the new tag champs. But the feud's not over. The Hardys are coming.
Yeah, there was a bit of discrepancy as far as they were both climbing out of the ladder at the same time. Hardys were just a couple seconds after Cesaro and Sheamus, so there is room for more there, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and Cesaro and Sheamus defeated last night on Raw Rhino and Heath Slater, which I think is the surprise of no one.
Yeah.
And I love Rhino and Heath Slater. Like when they won the SmackDown belts a couple months, actually a year ago now.
That was
Jesus.
about a year,
That was a year ago.
Whoa.
I love that. I remember that was a great surprise.
That long ago already?
I know, man. Time flies when you're a wrestling fan.
Man.
That's how we mark events in our lives is by pay-per-view.
Right.
Yeah. Remember when
that was around SummerSlam.
Remember how happy we were when Daniel Bryan won both belts? That was almost 4 years ago.
That was, that was a happy time. And then all hell broke loose after that.
Oh, man. WrestleMania's just come and go, y'all. Yeah. And then we have Neville, Austin Aries. I will admit, surprise. I thought they were eventually going to give this to Austin Aries. I thought after what is this like their third pay-per-view match? From Mania to this?
Yeah.
I thought, well, they're going to give it to, and because Austin Aries I think has been killing it. He's been so good.
Yeah, he's great.
When he got injured, when Nakamura brutaled his eyes. Anyone seen those photos? Let me pull that up.
Pull it up.
Let me pull up these photos. he was kind of put on mic duty, and he was like calling matches on Raw and 205 Live.
And I think he did a great job. He was very funny.
Oh yeah, super
very
funny. And he's like, I misspelled that terribly. Yeah, he is great on the mic. He's great all around. Awesome in the ring. So I thought for sure, if Neville's won twice, they're going to give it to him. And they didn't give it to him, and I was stunned. So yeah, if we want to pull this
graphic
up,
warning.
Graphic warning,
it's
y'all.
It's very graphic.
If anyone's on the board over there, but I'll keep this up while we talk about it. But no one's on the. No worries. They're setting up for the next show, y'all. Stick around because we got a great show coming. Yeah, so this was Austin Aries after getting kicked in the face by Shinsuke Nakamura.
Kicked in the face, but still smile.
Still smiling, still looking great, still kicking ass.
Yeah, because like when you think about like an actual kick in the face, when you think about a working kick in the face, that's a lot different than an actual kick in the face. And if someone can kick you in the face in a fight, give up because you don't know what else they can do.
Oh yeah, so Austin, he was out for a while, and I think didn't that hurt Nakamura too?
Yeah.
Didn't it like injure his foot?
He messed his heel up.
Was it a Tommy? Harry says it was a Tommy.
I thought Tommy was out. I thought that was Nakamura.
I think Tommy was still out. I think. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, so Austin Aries didn't win the match, and then TJP last night fought Neville. But first Neville was like, "I'll only face you if you beat this person." Then TJP did it, and Neville, great heel move, was like, "I'm still not gonna fight you."
Yeah.
So
he's kind of a jerk.
I love heel Neville. Heel Neville might be my favorite heel right now.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Like. Jinder Mahal is doing some good work. There's a lot of great heels out there.
Heel Neville ain't that good in the ring, though.
No, but heel Neville right now.
Not as good as Neville.
Oh, my God. And I do love heel Ziggler because he was not a heel for so long. And so I do appreciate heel Ziggler. But heel Neville, oh, my God. So that brings us to, there was Rich Swann, Sasha Banks in a mixed tag match. I'll be so honest, I totally forgot this match happened.
It was short. There was a good finish.
Yep.
Rich Swann did win in his hometown, which was a big deal to me personally.
Which
because
WWE almost never does unless it's Mania.
We never have
Mania.
people be the hometown heroes and win. They usually take the pinfall, to be honest.
Yeah.
People lose a lot in their hometowns.
So Maryland, he won. So I was happy, and I was happy that happened because he deserved it. And also they did a little dance segment after. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was cute. It's not what I want to see Sasha do, but it was cool.
Yeah. And then so that brings us to the 5-way fatal to see who was going to face off against the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. So Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Bray Wyatt.
Before we talk about how the match went,
yes.
Who did you want to win
What?
prior to this?
Finn Balor.
What?
I thought it was going to be Roman.
You thought, okay, so did what you want and what you think. Okay, so you thought it would be Roman, same. Okay, I wanted Joe to win, personally.
Okay.
And what about you, Aaron?
I wanted Bray to win because I still believe. I still want to believe.
Still holding tight.
Because it's like he could have done so much more.
Are you a Firefly, Aaron?
Are you among the Fireflies?
Are you one of his Fireflies?
I have a beard, damn it.
Do you sing? Do you sing?
You like my riddles, Aaron?
I believe in the son of IRS, okay?
And the brother of Bo. You believe.
Do you believe?
I believe in the son of IRS.
And I love Seth Rollins. I love Seth Rollins. But I wouldn't.
It's a nice change of pace to get somebody else in the seat.
It's a nice change of pace. And I think Seth needs to, for lack of a better way of putting it, and maybe it'll seem like he was out of the title picture because he was facing Triple H for so long, but I feel like they haven't still found a new storyline for him yet, and I want them to kind of give him something to build him up again towards a championship. Because it might be easy to forget, but Lesnar lost the belt to Rollins via Rollins facing Reigns, and then there was a couple of fights between them. So I want to see who else Brock can face up against, because if it was just up against Rollins, all of a sudden it would have been like, well, this was kind of a repeat of what happened 2-3 years ago. So that's why I wanted Balor, because Balor, though, being small, but I do love Samoa Joe. I do love Samoa Joe.
So then let's skip forward because Tony is bringing up the Joe Heyman promo last night. So let's skip ahead to my favorite part of Raw.
So Joe won for those watching.
So Joe won on Sunday. Joe won. So we're cutting to Monday now. We're talking about Raw, and I just want to bring up right away the segment that Joe had was amazing. It was so good.
Very good.
Very good. Fantastic segment.
Yeah, and Heyman, for the most part, anytime, like, Heyman, 2-3 weeks ago when he was with Balor was another great segment. Heyman is one of those guys, man. That's
he bring out the good in everybody.
Well, he puts people over in the sneakiest way, in a very worked way, obviously. But
he makes you care about people that you otherwise may not have sometimes.
Something that I think The Miz does really well as well.
Oh, talking about The Miz, this segment last night where he had the celebration segment and started attacking everything, including a grandfather clock that Maurice gave him, thinking it might be Dean Ambrose, I thought was very funny, very well done.
Because you know what, that was funny because WWE loves to put like obnoxiously large things that someone pops out of.
Yeah.
Like, remember the Christmas celebration where like
there's the Christmas celebration.
Every Christmas, like someone dressed as Santa Claus pops out and beats the crap out of somebody.
There's the Chavo Guerrero Jr. Fiesta thing where CM Punk had a guitar.
When Raw was at the Staples Center, I think it must have been last year, but Rusev and Lana had a gigantic cake that Rusev put Lana, or that actually Roman put Lana through. It was a gigantic cake. It was a very cool visual, which is why I assume they put big things in the ring so people up to the top can see.
No one puts cement in cars anymore, though.
Yeah, no, it's true. No one puts cement in cars anymore. Oh man, back in the day.
Back in the day, where Stone Cold would just terrorize people with vehicles.
Oh yeah, right. Then the beer truck, the milk truck from Kurt.
That's still one of the best things ever.
Dina hasn't been good at that. So far.
No, well,
he
because
brings in the ambulances and stuff. But
they keep giving him, for lack of a better way, the comedic version of it. And the problem is like, because Dean Ambrose's character, like it worked for Stone Cold because Stone Cold was like the toughest SOB. That was his whole character. If you had to put every wrestling character through like a Play-Doh Fun Factory filter, what's their filter? Dean Ambrose just has like too many filters right now. It's like he's crazy, but he's also funny, and he's this, and they don't know.
And he's a hero.
Whereas like back in the day, like it was so clean. Like The Rock, arrogant, Stone Cold, badass, Kurt Angle, obnoxious goody two shoes.
Yep.
And you just kind of
Kurt
whatever
Angle could
storyline
make that work because when he came out with that milk truck, Kurt was hilarious with that milk truck.
He was good at everything he did back then.
Yeah, because like his Hall of Fame speech, I'm glad he sang "I'm just a sexy Kurt" because that was
oh my god.
He'll make your ankle hurt.
True. I love that. That's one of my favorite things in wrestling too. The kayfabe version of real life things. Like it was always my favorite when when wrestlers we were supposed to believe had jobs, as if like they were traveling from city to city being trash men.
That's how I knew it was like fake.
Because, that's when you knew you're like,
who would get a job? Who would hate somebody so much you got a job at the same company that they did? Only fought on a specific Sunday in the month. Also, someone brought up the suspension of belief in law enforcement. There are storylines, literal storylines where people are being stabbed, ran over by cars, and the police, no one gets arrested.
Oh, the Stone Cold, the episode of Raw I'll never forget was Stone Cold after he got fired and coming to Raw with a gun.
With a gun. or John Cena had a program with a dude named Jesus who stabbed him in a nightclub.
Oh my
God. That's right.
And nobody.
No, he has no scar. He has no scar there.
No scar.
Well, let us never forget Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio,
the custody match.
Yep.
the custody ladder.
The
custody ladder match.
Yeah.
You have custody of a child. You have the papers in a briefcase over a ring, and that's how you get custody of your child.
Mitch.
And this isn't like 1980s.
That was 2004.
This was long after Vince McMahon did his whole speech on TV where he's like, "We don't want to insult your intelligence."
We don't want to insult your intelligence.
This is sports entertainment.
Here's a match where a man gets custody of his child.
This is real. Overall, great pay-per-view. So Raw last night, as we said, but no Balor. Balor was not on Raw last night. Neither was Bayley.
No.
Which I don't know.
Well, they're trying to sell the angle that Bayley is hurt from the kendo stick match.
5-minute match.
The 5-minute is a 5-minute beatdown. Okay. So she's recovering, which is fine. I would prefer to not see her anyway because she's got to come back real extreme. The most extreme Bayley.
They do Sting style. She comes back in like all black and white from the Raptors. She's got a condor on her.
She's got a kendo stick now.
That'd be oh my God. I'd love Dark Bayley. She's just Sting.
Bayley Dark.
She's got like a little tear on her eye.
Like the Undertaker in the 90s.
Chola Bayley.
And also last week, forgot to mention New Day. New Day came back to SmackDown.
Yes.
So they will be They will be facing off for the title at Money in the Bank, which you're allowed to do when you're the hottest tag team. You can take 3 months off and come back and get an immediate title shot.
Immediately.
Yep.
Which, hey, you know what? Good for those guys. They deserve it. I don't know. Very good SmackDown last week. Very good pay-per-view. Very good Raw. which is rare to say. That's not to say there weren't some down moments. Like I said, the continuing Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews. I feel so bad for Apollo Crews, man.
Yeah.
Like he's got such. Apollo Crews has such skill and such charisma, and they just he's a perfect example of a guy where it's like, you know what, go take 3 months off, and come back. We're gonna rewrite your character. We're gonna take you off screen for like 3 months. We're gonna do something totally different, and you're gonna come back like it's almost like the Kurt Angle thing, where it's like Kurt Angle was like a silly, cheesy, funny baby face, and then he became the wrestling machine.
Yeah. Well, that's when Vince was like, okay, we're gonna cut your hair, we're gonna make you badass now. Yeah. Because it's not getting over anymore because you're a gold, medalist, and you can't have people just laughing at you anymore. Right. And honestly, it's almost the same role that Neville was in before as well. Yes. And Neville really benefited from that
his injury.
Yeah, he really did because he came back and everything.
Take some time off and you come back to something totally different. He had his depression
beard and
Oh yeah, that beard with the hair still cut over there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the best. And so now we're leading into is Great Balls of Fire the next pay-per-view for Raw?
The next one.
Oh my God, y'all!
I think it's Great Balls of Fire, the greatest pay-per-view name.
Can we talk about the logo very quickly? Can you see if you can pull it up, Cameron?
Oh yeah, for Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, so I want to show you guys if someone's on the board to the logo. For Great Balls of Fire, WWE.
This is totally a Vince McMahon name, too.
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire.
I brought it up the last time I was here that the original name for...
Is this the original one? Or is this the...
let me see.
There was one. There's a newer one that actually looked... and it's pretty blatant when you look at it.
It's supposed to look like...
Yeah. It's supposed to look like... Where is it?
Is it this?
I can't find... I don't know where it's at. Is it? It's not that one.
No, top. Move over.
Yeah.
That
I can't. I don't know where it is. Anyway, you guys look it up. You'll see it because they'll play it during the.
Yeah, that looks like a barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, it's pretty suggestive where it just looks like a.
Oh, it looks like balls.
Yeah, it looks like balls and.
Oh, let me see. There's got to be a way to find.
There's got to if you go to the website, WWE. Yeah, there it is, right there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right there. Okay. Oh yeah, see, look, even there. Yeah, this is literally an article.
Oh.
That's amazing.
That is,
Oh, yeah. Vince. Oh, Vince, why?
Listen, I know back in WrestleMania days when I suggested the Colossal Tussle, we're gonna call it great. I got a great idea. You gotta draw it like a penis.
Oh no!
You gotta give him the hammer for $9.99 a month.
Right, $9.99 a month. Damn it, I can do it.
Yeah. Oh my God! Now I almost hope Joe doesn't win because I don't want him to be like.
This is the first time I won the belt.
Oh my God! They gave me the championship. I got the championship. Oh, where'd you win? Great Balls of Fire. Can we pull up the poster? Oh, you don't need to do that.
Yeah. Can you sign my poster, Joe?
Oh my God! That's something else.
Yep. Classic Vince.
WWE presents. We have too many pay-per-views.
So I want to talk about this because this is something people have been talking about. That the Raw viewership, it's gone up a little bit, but the ratings are not great. Ratings are down 20% in the last couple months. That's a hell of a drop.
You know what? Ratings were not good actually. After I heard reports from when Jinder won, people were not interested and. That is kind of a big deal because that means he's not being portrayed as a monster that needs to be taken down, and people are just not interested, which is the worst thing that you can have for your product. But I'm surprised that they actually did kind of go up a little bit.
Well, maybe it's because it was a good pay-per-view.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view was good.
Another reason why their ratings are going down too, on top of what you said, because that's also valid, but. A lot of TV is, not watched on television.
Right.
I said earlier, I watch on Hulu. Also, 3-hour Raw, whatnot. You can watch. WWE puts their matches on their YouTube channel later on.
They do.
Really good parts of it. I can watch that.
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. Yeah, it's true.
Some people just read the results sometimes too because
at the end of the day, I think it comes down to a 3-hour thing, a commitment. 3-hour commitment every week is difficult to ask for people.
Yep.
Ask of people. And there's just no incentive for me to necessarily watch them unless hey, I'm going to watch it because I like it and I'll check it out every so often. I'll pay more attention to it because I'm going to talk about it here. But at the same time, there was times where I just wouldn't even, I would just leave it on the background.
Well, is it a case too of we are now in the era where, because this is all about post-Mania, that leading up to Mania, you did have, and we complain about it. We do complain about like part-timers and people and all these other things. But going up to Mania, you had Goldberg, you had Undertaker, you had people who were like, I'm going to watch Raw because this giant star's coming on. And is it because we now kind of do live in the era where everyone's, for the most part, treated equally? AJ Styles might be one of the best people on the roster right now, Mike and everything. But yet, if he were to disappear for as long as John Cena has and then comes back, I don't think it's going to get the big announcement that AJ Styles is returning to this Raw or this SmackDown. Is it the fact that, again, like what we just said with Shinsuke, Shinsuke's now just another guy on the roster. There's no Austin of this era. There's no guy you have to watch. They want it to be Roman. It's not happening. And so there's that degree of like, well, why should I tune into this Raw? Because all it's going to be is like a 6-man or a 4-women tag or whatever like this, leading them to whatever the next pay-per-view is going to be. And I think that's sort of the thing. There's no stars. They're not trying to make stars of this era.
And for me, because Vince doesn't want them to surpass him again, like the way that that The Rock did, and there's all that. But one of the things I'm not a fan of the brand split because I don't get to see the people that I want to see every night, or on Monday and Tuesday, like. Kevin Owens is my favorite wrestler. AJ Styles is up there as well. I'm not getting them on Monday. And that kind of is not, is a reason for me to not really pay attention sometimes unless, there's something that a hook at the beginning of the show.
Right. Yeah, so it's one of those things, but I mean, it looks like it's going up, and I think it is. It's just it's getting behind people.
Yeah. Don't tell me that Bray is gonna do all these crazy things in his riddles and then have him lose. What's the point?
Yeah, let's talk about that too. So Bray opened up Raw doing his riddle things that we were talking about. His briddles, he's throwing out his hashtag briddles. Everyone, let's make a shirt.
He's doing his briddles.
And then loses clean to Roman. So him going out there and doing all that mystical, spooky, booky shit didn't matter.
It's no payoff. It's like, why do I care now?
We were supposed to believe 24 hours ago this was a possible candidate to take on Brock Lesnar.
Right.
And now he loses clean to Roman Reigns. But then they switch it up where it's then suddenly now he is a distraction for Seth Rollins later on. So it's like within the same show, let alone week to week, within the same show, they can't decide whether Bray is weak and going down and losing clean, or is he this mystical threat? Wrestling's different, obviously. Like back in the day, Undertaker wasn't on 13 times a week when he first appeared. But there's still a degree of like, the Undertaker would not be perceived as like, oh, he's this mystical, crazy creature. Oh, he just lost to this third tier Lex Luger. And then later on that night was then going to spook out another guy. That just it didn't happen.
No.
Yeah. Yep, it didn't happen. And it's just unfortunate because I think all of us here are big Bray fans. And
my God, love Bray.
I've always enjoyed him, and then it's like his downfall started like most superstars' downfall do, losing to John Cena.
Yes.
And once you do that, when you're larger than life and then you lose to John Cena, you're a regular guy.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I to some extent I agree, but I think it's beyond just the John Cena because that was actually a really excellent program for him.
Yeah, it was.
For him, so I think it skyrocketed him up there. It's the same way that Kevin Owens did too.
Right.
Because it's inevitable. You do have to lose to John Cena.
Absolutely.
But I will say that it was a constant. Them telling us Bray is a big deal. We're going to give him TV time to talk to you guys because he's a big deal. But then when he's in a match, it doesn't matter because he's going to lose. And then it's like, how am I supposed to get invested in him?
And then they put him in like hokey matches like the House of Horrors match, which was in a really nice house.
Which I defend as beautiful schlock.
It's like because they do the same thing.
Hear me talk about it on You Should Love Wrestling. I talked about it. I loved it.
There you go.
Plugging my friend's shows. But no, I agree. I mean, the thing about the reason his feud with Daniel Bryan worked so well was because it felt even.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daniel had a big push behind him, but Bray felt like a credible threat, and it was back and forth, and they were in cage matches and the Rumble and all this stuff. And you're like, man, Bray Wyatt, they're bringing it. They're both.
And then Daniel Bryan was like, okay, you got it. You want me? You got me. And I was like, this is getting good.
That Raw segment with the,
Oh my God.
Beautiful, that cage match. Excellent. But yeah, it's unfortunate. We haven't had any moments like that recently that are, as instilled in my memory. As that one, because they really don't take care of their characters as they should.
No,
they don't protect them the way that they should.
No, and it's a damn shame.
He picks and chooses. Like someone I don't forget. A lot of the wrestlers, honestly, I've heard describe Vince as viewing them as his favorite toys. Yeah. And he goes in and out of this is my favorite toy now, and I'm going to treat it with care. But then he gets bored and just like and then moves on to somebody else. So we're really at the mercy of what his favorite toy is at the moment. Which
and we see that constantly. Like, again, Rusev was apparently going to get this big push, and then he was like, I changed my mind.
So we're talking about, so Cameron's actually looking at, I guess Kevin Owens, the thumb of America was broken, but fear not, because he is, I'm in fact the toughest man alive and will not be missing any ring time.
I love how you did that in his voice, too.
He's my
I love
his husky French Canadian accent.
I love doing Kevin Owens impressions. They're the best. I am the best guy on SmackDown. Okay.
I'm a zoo enthusiast.
I am here and I'm going to win the belt, and there's nothing who can stop me. Jericho.
Right.
Jericho.
And then also on the injury front, not an active wrestler, but Ric Flair got into a fight with a Warriors fan. And he got his hand broken.
Wow.
Ric Flair don't care, y'all.
Rick punched the shit out of somebody and broke his hand.
But if you follow Rick on Instagram, as I do,
you should.
That's so good. This photo is also accompanied by. He clearly also got hit in the face because he's got a black eye.
Yeah.
He also promotes his shirts, which is I was wearing that Space Mountain Ric Flair shirt last week. He makes his own shirts, and y'all. If you buy them, you get a woo pin, which you better believe I put that on my back. Woo! You better believe I put that on my backpack. Mm-hmm. So yeah, guys, wrestling was fun this week. So as always, we like to wrap up the show with a homework assignment. So, my friend, if you had to tell people, because we always love to have the show, people, maybe you stopped watching wrestling, maybe you're a novice, maybe you're just getting into it, maybe the name Ric Flair, you've heard of it, you don't know who he is. What would you recommend for homework? What should people be watching?
Well, since Rick is on the screen right now, and he's one of my favorites of all time, you guys should watch Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels. Ric Flair's only retirement match, damn it. At WrestleMania 25, was that?
No, 25 was
24,
Taker.
24,
so
24. WrestleMania 24. He had the most beautiful send-off match. That match was perfect, bell to bell. It was emotional. You will laugh at some moments. You will cry at the very last. It was one of my favorite matches. Not my top match, but definitely in my top
Anything
5.
With Shawn?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely in my top 5. Anything with Shawn Michaels or Randy Savage is always really toward the top of your list.
Yeah, it's the famous "I'm sorry and I love you." You should watch that. And if you can, again, go to watch the Raw the next night, where all the wrestlers come in and pay their respects, including the Undertaker. You see a young Charlotte sitting in the crowd. That's definitely, if you're a wrestling fan, boy, you'll get very emotional watching that.
That build-up was great.
Oh, great build-up.
If Rick lost a match, he'd have to retire.
Yeah, there was some great pay-per-view matches.
Classic.
So, guys, we also love to wrap it up with some Q&A. So, guys, if you are in the chat and you want to throw us some Qs, we'll throw you some A's.
What I want to know, actually, is if anybody out there has seen, or even if you guys have seen any of the Best of the Super Junior stuff from New Japan.
I haven't.
I want to see the main event. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard some reviews of it. I know it was Kushida and Will Ospreay, Will Ospreay is one of my favorites out there. Great. He's excellent. So that's another one that I do need to check out.
You know what? Let's talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Let's pull up next week. So next week, guys.
2 assignments.
Two assignments. But we're also going to talk about some Super Juniors.
Yeah.
Because I would love to watch that. And there's ways, if you're watching this, there's ways you can watch that stuff. There is the New Japan app. Which is all in Japanese. Yeah. So just Google Translator.
You can just use your Google Translator. We have, I use it. It's easy peasy. And sometimes New Japan is actually really cool, and they will put out like their main event so that people can see it.
Yes.
So that they can get more people into the product, and it's just an excellent promotion. I haven't watched. Somebody was asking earlier about Lucha Underground as well. I haven't been keeping up with it. I did attend a taping for the season that's airing currently.
Right.
Oh.
I didn't, yeah.
So I have to. Yeah.
Temple, yeah. But I haven't seen the episode yet.
Has it premiered? Has the season started?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Somebody was asking.
Don't tell me. I'm gonna look.
Right. We got a question. Someone said, "Who is your favorite gimmick wrestler from the '90s?" Where everyone had jobs.
I did have something for Gangrel because of the vampire thing.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I like Christian's take on his too. That he was a happy vampire. He's a very happy guy.
Yeah,
he's always smiling.
My favorite '90s gimmick was and people are gonna hate me for this, but like the narcissist Lex Luger was,
that was good.
And like he was one of my favorites because of one moment. That was WrestleMania 9, where he had all the women holding up mirrors and stuff while he posed.
Oh, that's right.
I thought that was hilarious.
Cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Okay, April 23rd. So it has started.
Yeah.
So Yeah, we'll talk about some Super Juniors, and in 2 weeks from now, we'll talk about some Lucha because it's back.
Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. And then somebody was asked another question. Let's see. Okay, who do y'all think walks away with the IWGP heavyweight belt, Okada or Omega? I would like it to be, I don't know. That's such a tough one because I love them. By the way, Tekken 7. Have you guys been playing Tekken 7?
No.
My husband plays. I'm not good at Tekken. I'm not good at fighting games, so I don't play. But I've been watching him play. He plays as King. You can customize your character to look like Okada.
Really?
You can even put like a gold chair on your back. It's so cool. But you can wear the robe. It's awesome. I love it. Val Venus is horrible. If you go back and watch any of those jokes from the 90s, they're disgusting.
It was terrible, Val Venus.
And I was like, my parents let me watch that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Pull up this image. Yep. That's amazing. Yep. Yeah, you sure can. You sure can with Tekken 7. Make him look like Okada. That's incredible, y'all.
It's great. They worked really. You can actually also equip a Bullet Club shirt for any of the heroes, any of the champions.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Favorite iteration of The Rock? Oh my God, Arrogant Rock. I mean, he was always Arrogant Rock.
He was always arrogant.
A Corporate Rock when he was fighting Mick Foley.
Push the eyebrow up. Yeah,
I love that one.
Yeah, the Rock and Sock Connection.
Rock and Sock Connection. Rock. Also, Rock when he came out in those gaudy ass shirts.
Oh yeah.
That first championship
yeah, that's
run.
right. I remember
That first championship run.
To answer the question
That's
about
amazing.
Omega or Okada, I will say Omega just because I'm such a fan of Bullet Club and I'm just a Bucks mark. But Okada is amazing and he's up there. He's one of my favorites and he is the best wrestler of the year so far. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're both great. I'm going Omega.
I'm going Omega because I'm a Bullet Club fan, man.
Yeah. But go Chaos too. We love Chaos.
Who do you guys want to see compete in the Mae Young Classic? I would love to see a surprise entrance by Gail Kim.
I still want to see Candice LeRae in it too. Hopefully,
I think she's retired, and I was talking to someone about this because I'm a huge fan of Glow, but I want to see Ivory.
I love.
That'd be great.
Ivory was.
I saw her on. She was on Table for Three recently.
Yeah, she was at a.
It was really
she
good.
was at a Comic-Con that I was at not too long ago. I can't remember if it was Long Beach last year, but Glow had a table, and she.
That's great.
That's so cool.
And speaking of Glow, I know the show's coming on Netflix soon. We might pay attention. We might be doing a watch along here on the channel. So
I'd be down to come back for that because Glow was my shit.
Yeah. So we might be talking about Glow. Undertaker was always awesome, except for them. What do we think of the American Badass era? Because I think he had some great matches.
I liked it.
He had some great.
People shit on it so much.
People do shit on it a lot.
See, the thing is,
I didn't hate it. His match with Ric Flair was great.
A lot of people don't understand like the whole American Badass thing. Undertaker wanted to retire then. He did. He wanted to go out as Mark Calloway, and you know some of those matches were good. Him dressed as a biker named the Undertaker made a lot more sense than a zombie coming to the ring led by. You know,
totally.
I'm like, if we were going for more realism, that's the way you go.
That's the one I wanted. I wanted to see him come back as just badass Undertaker, just being like, this is my
I
yard.
also have an affinity in my heart for Undertaker and Kane as a team because I have a little brother.
Yeah.
So I'm
I want to fight my brother.
And we're both tall, and I want to be like, okay, me and him.
The New Brothers of Destruction.
Exactly. You know, if you're watching Damien, that's us, man. Seriously.
Aww.
Oh, that's amazing. So you guys, thank you so much. So next week, we're going to talk some Super Juniors next week. We'll talk about the rest of SmackDown, what happened on tonight's SmackDown, because we only saw the beginning. Did Lana have her match with Naomi? You'll know before we do, but possibly. Yep. But going around, Aaron, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Where can people find you online? Anything you want to plug?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Your Favorite Skinny Man. My Twitter is in the chat room at Your Favorite Skinny Man as well. I also have 2 podcasts, Stupid Movie Tuesday and Aaron Explains the Universe. They air on Tuesdays and Thursdays, respectively.
Awesome. Janelle.
You can find me online at Janel Santa Cruz, and that is on all the social medias, on Instagram, Twitter, Plays, on Twitch, on everything. It's Janel Santa Cruz, and I will see you there.
Fantastic. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Jurassic Alien, Instagram, all those things. And definitely go sign up for the Hyper RPG YouTube if you haven't yet. We do trailer reactions there, movie commentaries, and sign up for the Patreon. One of our Patreon goals, if you get to a certain goal, the host will cut a wrestling promo on you. Some of you guys have already done that.
Cool.
We're getting together soon to kind of figure out those promos on the green screen and put some old Razor Ramon stuff up there just for the hell of it. So go do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stick around for Cineverse, some movie talk coming from your favorite movie patrons. Later.
Peace.